are live. It's NBA Rundown time, runpuresports.com. My guy Tyler with us. Travis is taking the day off. It's wild in DFS right now, and we're going to touch on it. But in the interest of time, right, because the show would have been 3 hours long, right, if he tried to go over every single game. They're going to keep that to a minimum. I know they're doing some MMA over there right now, and people might be more interested in that in this NBA. Tyler, I was a little disappointed. I really thought that with the play-in and the way the standings were packed, that we were going to get this exciting race to the finish line. And it's just kind of bad luck because a lot of teams got locked in, right? So it's like normally you say, oh, the Suns and the Lakers, right? I mean, it's two teams, right? Playoff teams, not just two tanking teams, right? Like the Pistons-Pacers matchup. But the problem is the Suns are already locked in. So they really don't have anything to play for, right? And we just have a lot of games like that tonight where, like the Kings, I mean, technically we could have got two, but it doesn't look like we're going for that. So a little disappointed. I was really thinking this was going to be one of the best finishes to the season in a while, and it wasn't. I was telling everyone when I was at UPS today throwing boxes around. Yesterday, I believe, was the first day we did not have an RPP tag on, right?
I sent a message in the Discord. I was like, this is an ugly day. Let's not force anything. And you look at the final scores, everything was pretty ugly. And you just look at the way the games played. I'd rather not have money involved in games like that.
And it was like a tough watch, too. And I understand if you're Kurt, maybe, and you have like some attachment to some of these players because they made you money in the college streets, it might be more interesting. But there wasn't even a lot of close games. I guess the Denver game stayed close for a while. I had that one on. But it wasn't really like I felt like I took a lot away, and I'm like taking notes. So I'm going to use this when I'm handicapping the playoffs. Look who's here.
Our guy, Johnny Nelson.
What's up? And I don't think we're going to. Now, the question is, and we'll get into this, but guys, honestly, because we're not going to give out a lot of bets today, feel free to jump in the chat, right? I mean, we can give the show over to the people today, Tyler, right? I mean, it's not like a normal day where we have a bunch of preparation. We have picks. We have sides. Tyler and I might disagree, but we're ready to really take stands. We're diving through this just as much as you. So we're willing to go off the beaten path today and just talk with the chat. So, yeah, Jonathan Nelson, I think we're sitting everybody. The question is, do the Warriors double tank, right? Do they pull everybody right towards the end and say, hey, we want to be in 6, or do they want to move up 5 to that potential matchup with Phoenix? So we'll be talking about those as the games go through. I think these scenarios might be more interesting than some of those matchups. And we're going to plead ignorance when we don't know some of these players, right? Like, we're not familiar with a ton of the players that
we have one playoff series line already up.
A playoff series line?
Yeah, because the Cavs and Knicks, because that can't change.
Oh, give me the Cavs. Isn't it like minus 185?
Minus 215, but I think the way to go, it says series total games. For them to sweep them, it's plus 600. For them to beat them 4-1 is plus 230. That's 6 games at 2-1 seems like a nice shot. Yeah,
that's fantastic. So, yeah, we'll be going more into those. Monday, we're going to do a full playoff show, and then we're going to do Tuesday as well. I forgot to talk to you about that before we went live, Tyler. We'll have to send some messages out because, I figure we'll just have 2 days of playoff shows almost.
Yeah.
So we'll let some of the guests know they can come on Monday or Tuesday.
And you spoke on DFS being a little tricky at the end of the year spread. Do you know the 3 guys that scored the highest points last night?
No, give it to me.
Drew Eubanks was the highest. Zach Collins was right behind him. And Josh Giddey was 3rd.
And I love the Zach Collins prop. In fact, I wrote that up for Odds Trader yesterday. And I said, normally when we write these props up, right, we say something like, for example, I gave out James Harden yesterday, the under. That was actually my only bet. Hit that. That was nice, right? But, I said, hey, he's gone under this total of 5 of the last 6 games, right? A lot of times, Tyler, when you give out a play, you have the trends to go with it, right? He's gone over this 8 of his last 9 or 8 of his last 9 against Sacramento. There was nothing in Zach Collins' previous performance to say that he was going to get the double-double, but I just said this is a good matchup. They should be getting him usage. So, it's kind of fun messing around with stuff like that. But we're treading lightly, and it's definitely a tough day to handicap this. Anything else in general, Tyler, or the chat that we want to talk about before we attempt to do our best to break down this slate?
No, just one thing I want to go look at again because I'm just going to keep looking at it until the end of the year spread. SGA's down to 2-1. Lauri Markkanen's minus 250 now from a minus 400 when we started talking about this. Still hasn't played a game since we talked about this either, so I still like SGA in that spot. So
they lost. Yeah, I do too. I wrote about it and I said I thought the Markkanen should win, but that I thought the SGA had a great chance to win at the odds you were getting. And I think what it comes down to, and I've been listening to a couple other pods, so I'm paraphrasing, and I can't remember who because I listen to like 5 different NBA pods per day. But, it comes down to, is it the unexpected growth, right? Because we all just thought that Markkanen at this point of his career was going to be a role player, right?
Did you see he's going back to the military?
The Finnish military?
Yeah, they have to serve, I think, a year or 2 in that army before they turn 30.
Bro, we should do that here.
Relax, spread.
Sorry. But my point is, or the thing is, the growth from where SGA was to like a pretty good star to like a legitimate MVP candidate, that's harder than going from like role player to pretty good player, right? Mikal Bridges did the same exact thing, right? Where, hey, now I have more of an opportunity. I'm showing you that I could be at least put up kind of star player numbers, being a number 1 guy. So that's what the debate's going to come down to.
I can tell you who's winning the award next year, unless somebody just storms out of nowhere.
Tell us now so we can bet it.
Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
Just look at how this award's played out every year. It's the guy that just like gets more usage, gets higher numbers. It's going to be him next year unless somebody gets moved in the offseason. Like, if he would have got to Brooklyn earlier in the year, this would be his award to lose.
He'd be in the conversation.
That Kevin Durant
Markkanen's jump is still pretty impressive.
If that Kevin Durant trade happens preseason and he gets a whole 82 on the Nets, I think he wins the award.
And that's fair. He's definitely in the conversation. York might get TJ McConnell minutes. All right. Well, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. You want to know what else is about? I don't even know who York is.
I know. I don't either. And I'm assuming you're talking about TJ McConnell. All right. So we're going to rely on the chat today to help us out. We'll go through. We'll get that Kings game here pretty soon. I think the question comes down to a double take or not. But let's just dive right in to the lines as we have them on the board right now. I'm going off bookmaker offshore lines. So you might have a more favorable price if you're using a legal book in one of the 37 states that allows it. I'm still out here in California using Bitcoin to get my money. The Miami Heat are minus 4.5. They're in Washington. They're taking on the Wizards. Totals 217.5. Tyler, so for these totals, if we do play them, and I know you told me no totals for the rest of the year, I think we go over, though. I think these guys are more interested in putting up points. Right? These kind of guys that are showcasing their abilities.
Yeah, I agree there.
Than being like a defensive stopper. It feels like the pace is high, like in these games where all the stars are ruled out. And this is going to be one of them because let's go through this. I mean, it might take the whole show, but Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, Kyle Lowry, all out. Kevin Love, Max Strus, questionable for the Miami Heat. On the Wizards sides, Danny, I don't even know, what is it?
Avdija.
Danny Avdija, Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, Monte Morris, Kristaps Porzingis, all out. But DeLon Wright is playing. They probably need to get to the minimum amount. So, Tyler, this is tough for us. Do you have like a projected starting lineup for both these teams?
I'm just looking through real quick on the DK app to see which guys are even active for Miami. Mm-hmm. So my guess is the starting lineup goes something like Gabe Vincent, Oladipo, Caleb Martin, Robinson, being Duncan Robinson, and then Cody Zeller at the center. But they brought Yurtseven back a while ago. He just hasn't played any minutes. I could see him getting some run here. So, I mean, but it's an ugly game. And just dumb logic here too, spread. These Washington bums have played, 5 to 6 games together with each other now? They're on their home floor.
Can we call them bench players?
Yeah. I'm betting Washington. I think they win.
They're not bums, Tyler. They're bench players, all right? You know what?
Some of these guys aren't even bench players, Fred. Some of these guys were at home until 2 weeks ago.
Is it Corey Kispert's season? I see his over is 15.5 points.
Yeah, I love that. And there's a performance.
Should I bet that right now? I mean, I want to have some action for tonight. It's Friday night.
Yeah, I don't mind that. And then there's a performance double 3+ threes and Washington wins plus 220.
All right, I'm going to bet Corey Kispert over 15.5 right now. That's approved by Tyler?
Yeah, I like that one.
All right, guys, that might be the only bet you get from us today. Just kidding. We're going to go through the whole slate. Cody Zeller, yeah, he's been great at value here. All right, my bet was successfully submitted. Let's keep on the winning track there. I see no props up for the Heat. Do you?
No, I don't see anything up for the
all
Heat.
I have up, and I'm off Bet Online here. I go for my lines off Bookmaker. I'll give props off Bet Online just because the interface is so much easier. Daniel Gafford is over 12.5. Johnny Davis over 16.5. I think you can make an argument for both of those, but I definitely like Kispert the best out of the three right there. I don't know. Anything more on this game? Like I said, the only other consideration I would have here is an over. I mean, do we even want to look at the projections? Is it even worth anything to look at projections, Tyler?
I mean, the numbers just don't match what the rosters are out there, so I think it's giving false answers in the end.
217.5 is kind of low, though, for guys that I think we'll be trying to showcase.
Yeah, I like the over here.
Okay, well, we'll talk about whether or not that's an RPP DAG. Of course, to take advantage of that, up over 30 units on the season. What are we this month right now? 13-8?
Yeah, 13-8.
Up a couple units so far already in April. If you're not taking advantage of that, run puresports.com, promo code spread15. Or if you love player parlay doubles, Tyler 15 is the code for you. Either one's going to get you 15% off your first membership, though. So love for you to come on over, join the Discord, become part of the winning. And, of course, use some of that sweet daily fantasy advice as well to help build some cores and, right? Just like a lottery ticket parlay, right? Throw $15 in, right?
Yep, throw 15
you got a chance to win
$100,000. A couple thousand.
Yeah, so runpuresports.com is the place to be. Houston Rockets -4 in Charlotte, taking on the Hornets. The total's 229. Interesting. So it's funny, Tyler. It's weird. Some of my projections are so on and some are so off. This one actually had the Rockets by 4. It's a little cleaner report. So I feel like, at least on the Houston side, and actually Charlotte, because you said the bums, I say the bench players have been playing together for a while now, right? Because Hayward hasn't played for a while, Oubre hasn't played for a while, Rozier hasn't played for a while. I see Dennis Smith Jr. is questionable. PJ Washington, he's been out, so these guys have been running together. Mark Williams, probable there. What do you think for this Charlotte lineup? Let me see who it is, because we pretty much, if I go to the last Charlotte game, I'm going to pretty much see who's playing tonight, right?
Yeah. Pretty much same guys.
When was the last time they played? The 4th?
Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday. We were off Monday.
All right. Yeah. Let me check the box score of this Hornets game. Oh, it was Bryce McGowan's season. He led the Hornets there. So let's see. Of course, Williams might be in there tonight, and Dennis Smith Jr. might be in there tonight. But it seems like the main rotation was Bryce McGowan's, Nick Richards, who's an all-right center. He had 18 and 11. Keep that in mind. Zvi Mihalik, who's right. He's right on that thing between like contributor and just role player. I mean, just bench player completely. Teo Maladon and JT Thorpe. They actually had a pretty balanced lineup here. They lost, but all 5 starters in double digits. It looks like their bench was Kai Jones. He only got how many minutes? 22 minutes. That's not bad. I actually like him. He's never going to be as good as I was hoping. A guy named Simmons, who I don't know, Tyler. A guy named Sneed, who I don't know. And James Bouknight. So let's just assume we had Dennis Smith Jr. and Mark Williams to this rotation. Do you think this can hang with the Houston team that seems to be playing most of their best players, right? We should be getting the same guys that we've got all year for the Rockets, right?
Yeah, no, I'm on the Rockets here. I think they kind of roll in and win this one pretty easy. I mean, you said the Charlotte guys have played a couple games together. They have. But when they were winning those games as the bad team, getting a lot of points, that was with PJ Washington scoring a ton. Okay. Without him out there, there's just no one that could score the ball very effectively for them. Like if one of these role players comes in, shoots the ball, gives you 25 to 30 in this spot, I mean, I ain't going to sit here and try and pinpoint which guy it is. We know the Rockets are going to play their main guys. They have nothing to play for. They can't tank any farther down the standings. A win doesn't mess them up either. So I'm on the Rockets here, minus the 4, and some of the performance doubles I like. There's a Sangoon double-double and win at plus 140. There's a Jalen Green 25 plus points and win at plus 160. There's a Kevin Porter Jr. 3+ threes and win at plus 155. And then if you want to get on a Jabari Smith, there's a 15 plus points and they win at plus 170.
All right. And all those performance doubles you gave out are right around where I see these numbers at Bet Online. But I talked about Bryce McGowan season earlier, Tyler. I haven't played it yet. I wanted to talk to you. I can get over 12.5 points at plus 118. Am I just reaching too much, or do you think that's a good play?
I think you're reaching a little bit. I think we don't force anything on days like this.
All right, there you have it. So
if I'm betting player props on Bryce McGowan's, I think I'm going to take the day off. Unless
we want to do it just to be contrarian.
Unless we're betting college player props.
Plus 118. All right, Tyler says no. Why would his usage go down from last game though? I'm just looking at this last.
I'm not going to argue that his usage might go down, but
he played 35 minutes, second most on the team.
In games like this, you never know what these coaches are going to do.
But aren't the Hornets the same? I guess they do have room. Do they have room to tank? Would you have the standings up?
No, they really don't have room, but all it takes is one young guy just doing something dumb, and they're like, all right, we're going to give these minutes to the next young guy sitting on the bench, and then McGowan's just sitting on the bench for 20 of those 30 minutes.
I'm going to do it for
his backup comes in and shoots well. He gets extended run.
I'm doing it for like $50. All right. But yeah, that's not an official run pure play. That's me being a degen. All right, let's move on. Anything more on this one, Tyler?
No, that's it for me on that one.
All right. Detroit Pistons are +7. They're in Indiana taking on the Pacers. Another spot where this injury report is so crucial. Marvin Bagley's probable. Isaiah Livers questionable. Rodney McGruder out. Eugene Umori, who's actually giving them some good minutes. I think he was a 10-day guy, right? They got signed for the rest of the year. Duarte and Halliburton are out. TJ McConnell, questionable. The guy in the chat says he might be out. Jalen Smith, questionable. Miles Turner, questionable. I'd really be surprised to see Turner or McConnell out there, Tyler. Jalen Smith seems like he can use the run, right? I will try and get him the run. That's just me being logical. That doesn't have necessarily anything to do with what might actually happen. But I just wanted to talk about that. Pacers are -7. I thought it was a bit rich when I did it, but projections had them covering. What are your thoughts here when the Pacers play the Pistons?
Yeah, I kind of like the Pacers here. I think they kind of just roll in and beat up on them. I mean, the props I'm looking for aren't listed yet. The Nembhard, is his assist up? Do you see anything for him? Because that's the one.
You want Nembhard assists?
Yeah, I don't see anything listed for him yet, but that would be the prop I'd want in this game. I mean, the dude's getting, if that number's been around 6.
I don't think they'll put it up till you get the McConnell news.
Yeah, his number's been around 6.5 though. I like the over there, but outside of that,
I got nothing for him.
If you wanted to lay the points here with Indiana, I think they win this game, but 7 seems like a lot. And the performance doubles I'd want are also on Nembhard, and there's nothing up yet, so got to wait on those.
Yeah, I don't see anything up either. So, of course, and it makes sense, right? Because if should be about, what, a 6-point difference?
Who?
If McConnell plays, Nembhard?
Yeah.
Like, let's just say, I don't know what he's sitting at right now, but let's just say it's 9.5. If McConnell sits, I would move it up to like 15.5. I
agree.
All right. Any interest in any Jaden Ivey or James Wiseman props?
No, I mean, maybe some Wiseman if Turner's out, because then he just feasts on that small front court, but I'm not going to force anything. These ugly slates spread, I'm not forcing anything.
All right. There you have it. Full disclosure here, runpuresports.com will tell you when we're not betting anything. Philadelphia 76ers +11 in Atlanta taking on the Hawks. Totals 235.5. Tyler, I didn't look at this injury report yet, but my idea is I'm not getting any good Sixers, right? If that's my line. So Embiid's out, Harden's out, Maxi's out, PJ Tucker's out. DeAnthony Melton, doubtful, doubt that he plays. Jaden Springer, questionable. I could see him playing. Tobias Harris, questionable. If you're sitting everyone else, why are you playing older Tobias Harris? I don't want to say old-ass Tobias Harris, but he's older. DeAndre Hendricks, questionable for the Hawks. Bogdanovich is going to play. So pretty clean on the Hawks side, pretty dirty on the Sixers side. But, Tyler, you know I love my superstar subtraction. I'm not laying it here with Atlanta. I think the Sixers are pass, and I'm leaning towards pass. So 235.5. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely a pass spot. I think Atlanta wins the game, but I'm not betting on the minus 11. The one performance double I'd take a shot on would be the Trae Young 25 plus points, and they win at plus 105. I mean, at that point, at that price, you're basically betting his points prop at a little bit better price. You know what I mean? Like you're not getting like the value. Like when we bet the Kispert 3+3s and they win 2 games ago spread, it's plus 220.
Yeah,
that's a lot better than betting his over 2.5 threes at say minus 110. So that's my only worry there is that you're kind of betting his prop at a higher price and adding the money line in. But as 11-point favorites, they should be able to roll this team. I mean, who's going to be out there for Philly tonight? McDaniels, Shake Milton, it's just not going to be a good team out there. So I think they pull together the win. They still technically need it as they can drop to the 9 or 10 seed in the play-in. I think they win, and that Trae Young 25 plus and they win is the only play I would play here.
Fantastic. And I see no 76ers listed on Bet Online for points props. Orlando Magic are plus 11.5. They're in Brooklyn taking on the Nets. So the Magic are sitting everyone?
They're done. Yeah.
What's the point? You have to help these guys anyways. You have a huge young team. I don't get it at all.
I agree. They did. Yeah, they did it last game too. They sat everybody. They pulled everybody right an hour before game time. Sat Paulo, sat Wendell Carter, sat Franz. All these guys sit, and I don't get it. I would run them out there, but now you look at this matchup. Brooklyn can't lose this one spread. They kind of need this.
They're not going to. They don't have anyone on the injury report. They're playing everybody.
Yep, they're going to play everybody. If there's one higher favorite on this board, I hate to say it because we tried to lay this many points with them before.
No, I agree.
You got to take Brooklyn here if you're going to lay points. And then Dinwiddie double and wins plus 145. We've seen him rack up assists here and in a ton of games recently. Don't mind that. Or just going to the 12 plus assists and they win at plus 350 if you don't trust him to score the points.
What's Bridges and win? What's his point number?
Bridges is 30 plus points and win at plus 152 or 4 plus threes and they win at plus 235.
Too high.
But what's his points prop set? Okay, his points prop's 27.5. So even building it by yourself, you're not getting plus money.
Let's leave it alone. But, since we're giving out, our takes here, we'd much rather lay 11.5 with Brooklyn than we would 11 with Atlanta. We agree there, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So maybe our favorite double-digit favorite. We have one more coming up, and you could argue that we'll have 2 if that Kings line continues to move. The Toronto, we're not doing any props in the Nets, right? I didn't like any of those numbers. They're too high. Okay. The Toronto Raptors are minus 1.5. They're in Boston taking on the Celtics. This is the rematch they played on, Tuesday night? I don't know, Wednesday night. Celtics won what, like 97-90? My main takeaway isn't that the Celtics won, that the game went way under. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe we could do another total here. It's 222.5. The last game was at 187, 188. Let's look at this report. Malcolm Brogdon, questionable. Jaylen Brown's out. Al Horford's in. That's weird. Peyton Pritchard, questionable. Marcus Smart, questionable. Jason Tatum will play. Derek White, questionable. Robert Williams will play. I don't see anyone on the Toronto. Looks like both teams are giving it their all. I'm surprised that Toronto's favored. Did we think that these guys just won't play the full game?
Yeah, I think there's something weird going on with these 3 guys that are off the injury report, Tatum, Williams, and Horford, especially the 2 big guys. Like, we've seen them sit Horford in back-to-back. He's an older guy. He doesn't want to play. Williams they've been very touchy with his rotations all year. They don't want to get him hurt down the stretch.
Yeah.
This is one of them spots where I think you see these guys play maybe the first quarter, maybe the first half, and that's it. So,
and that's what I was thinking too. It's almost like the NFL preseason where they play the first quarter. The idea is the Celtics are essentially locked into number 2, right?
They are locked in.
That was yesterday. So they're going to have a week off, right? Because the final game's Sunday. They might not even play that one, right? And then they don't start till they might not even start till the next Sunday.
Yeah,
right? I think 4 games Saturday, 4 games Sunday.
If you're a team like Boston, Milwaukee,
you don't want to lose momentum.
Yeah, you don't want to lose momentum, and you just don't want your guys sitting around for that long because, God forbid, you catch the team that caught fire at the end of the year, snuck through the play-in. Now you're coming off the couch trying to beat a team that's just shooting red hot. That is a recipe for disaster.
All right. But because of that uncertainty, I don't see how we get involved here.
I'm taking the Raptors.
You are?
Yep. Just because I know they lost the last game. Boston still technically had the path to get the 2 seed in that matchup. After that night, kind of locked up. I don't see these guys playing the entire game. And Toronto with a win and an Atlanta loss could catch them in the standings theoretically. Atlanta is 11-point favorite, so they probably don't lose. But I think Toronto comes in and gets this job done. I think they win this game.
All right, we'll talk about whether that's attack because I actually lean the Celtics here. The Celtics have done well with just their backups. The main game that comes to mind for me is, you remember when they sat everyone against Milwaukee on that nationally televised game?
I agree with you, but at the same time, it's worked one time. Like, there's been other games where they've sat all their guys, and it's like we go back to that. We're like, what about that game against Milwaukee? And then we watch the game.
I'm not rushing to bet Boston, right? But I'm just saying I'm very hesitant to bet Toronto, who's been not a good road team, right?
No,
we went over
agree.
this. We faded them earlier. Actually, didn't we fade them against Boston last time?
We did.
Even with people sitting because the road record was so bad?
That was with the position that Boston could move. With them not wanting to move, all the Q tags, these guys are only going to play one half. I think we have to
I think the guys that come in will be fine.
I mean, maybe, but I don't trust them.
Well, I don't necessarily trust them either, but I mean, all right. Be surprised if we see a tag on that.
We're going to have like JD Davidson on the floor. I mean, the Pistons are rolling all their guys out right now too, so.
Really?
Yeah.
That must have already been baked into the line because it didn't even go off the board for me.
It'll probably come off in a second.
I mean, the Pacers with no Halliburton, probably no Turner, -7. That kind of told you, right, that the books expected this?
Yep.
All right. Fair enough. All right, so Tyler and I disagree on the Celtics and Raptors. I think what that tells you is bet that game at your own peril. If anything, Tyler, that proverbial $100, I'd probably go with the under again.
Yeah, I don't argue that. I mean, we talked about betting overs, and that was a 217. And this is a matchup where it could get ugly. And if the Raptors do impose their will, they're just going to suffocate this team on the other end. Like, they're not going to be able to score. The Raptors on a high-paced team, so it probably does go under with the Raptors win.
Yeah.
I
doubt we'll get there to actually make it a bet.
Over is your thought process is these Celtics off the bench keep this game close because the way they keep it close is shooting threes. And that's how the game ends up going over. It's
different when you're Charlotte. You're on Charlotte or Indiana, right? You're just trying to catch on to a roster. If you're a Celtic guy off the bench, you're saying, I want to get playing time in the playoffs. You're going to need to defend to do that.
And some of them guys just want to hold that roster spot so they can maybe get a ring in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. So just like Joey Work's girlfriend trying to get a ring. See my guy Jonah Winters in the chat. What's up, guys? What's up to my guy Josh, Luis, hanging out with us. It really skipped making some takes today. My guy Shapeshifter, Peace, Nell, Daytona Terry, Marquee Music Group, and of course we already shout out the great Jonathan Nelson. I see David Dulac in the chat. Guys, we're doing our best to go through it. Not much on the DFS side for us today. We'll leave that to the DFS experts, but we're breaking down this card from a betting standpoint so you guys can enjoy the last evening of regular season basketball because it's daytime starts Saturday and Sunday, Tyler. So this will be the last time to stay up late and watch regular season basketball. Of course, you guys will be staying up late on the East Coast. I'm jealous of you. Now that I've experienced East Coast time, I just want it back. It's so cool. So
it's a lot cheaper on this side of the country too, spread.
Well,
at least cheaper down from New York. Yeah, some of those prices Joey was telling me were in Kentucky. I was like, Jesus, those are high prices.
Yeah. All right. New York Knicks are +8. They're in New Orleans. They're taking on the Pelicans. The total is 223. Tyler, your favorite team catching 8 points against New Orleans. There's got to be a reason. Let's figure it out. Jose Alvarado's injured. Zion Williamson's injured. RJ Barrett questionable. Jalen Brunson out. Daquan Jeffries out. Julius Randle out. Mitchell Robinson out. Dwayne Washington out. So a good chunk of that starting lineup not playing for the Knicks. Pelicans want this win, right? So it makes sense that they're favored right around that number that we hate to lay it at, right? The 7s and the 8s gets real tricky. Like the 5.5 might be appealing here. What are your thoughts here on the Knicks? Can the backup Knicks keep it close? I think that Thibodeau's going to be pushing his guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think they keep it close. Outside of the main guys, so Brunson and Randall out. Like if Barrett misses, I think they can replace him. I don't see any of the Quentin Grimes, the Emmanuel Quickleys, the Obi Toppins, all these guys that we've seen get run in the last couple of days spread and put up numbers. The Pelicans are a good team, but they're still young. We watched them blow, an 11-point lead in 11 seconds the other night to push that game to overtime. Mm-hmm. So I don't trust them to lay 8.5 points here, even in a must-win game. Give me the points with the Knicks. I do think the Pelicans win, but the Knicks are going to keep it a lot closer than people think. I'm on them here.
All right, I love it. Knicks as a dog. Let's go. Memphis Grizzlies are -8 in Milwaukee, taking on the best team in the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks, catching 8 at home with a total of 229.5. There has to be a reason. One of my favorite teams is catching 8 at home. Oh, let's see. Grayson's out. Giannis is out. Pat Connaughton's out. Jrue Holiday's out. Brook Lopez is out. Chris Middleton's out. So what do we have, Tyler? Javon Carter season, some Bobby Portis. Who else is going to be out there for us? Javon Carter, Bobby Portis.
Not Giannis. We're getting Thanasis tonight.
Thanasis?
Yeah. Okay. Did you see the quote that they said? They asked 3 executives. They were like, would he be on? Yeah, okay. Would he be on a team if not? And they're like, yeah, no. Like, no chance.
I mean, what do you really need your 12th man to do?
Very true.
Right? I mean, if it keeps the best player, in my mind, the best player in the world happy, you do it, right? Yep. I mean, Udonis Haslam's 12th man, right? I mean, it's not like these players are affecting the outcome. So those 12 men are there basically as extra assistant coaches, or, the word that you guys like to use, right? Keep the vibes, right? They're there for vibes, right? They're not actually there for ability to play basketball. Makes sense there. So what do you think? Oh, I didn't even read the Grizzlies. Let me read the Grizzlies. So Kennard's going to play. Jaw's going to play. Xavier Tillman's going to play. Jake LaRavia is out. Santi Aldama, doubtful. Steven Adams. I'll be interested to see if he returns. I'll be looking for him to play, especially if they play the Lakers in the first round. We're going to need it. What's up, Don? He's got some sage advice for everyone. Get that mojo going. Hit the like button. Tyler, Memphis late 8. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm going to side with Memphis here. I mean, the Bucks just have no one out there. And the guys they do, like Bobby Portis, he's drawing possibly the defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson. So I think he gets slowed down a bit too. Memphis, I mean, they technically don't need to win. They can't move up, but they can technically move down with a couple losses and Kings wins. So I'm going to side with Memphis here. They're also a bully of a team. I think they come in, they smash this team, beat them by double digits, and then just go back home. So I'm on Memphis here.
All right. Performance double, I think, is the way to go. I don't want to lay 8. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's tough. There's nothing listed right now on FanDuel, and usually Jaws are at 30 plus or 35 plus. That's a lot of points. Jaren Jackson's at 20.
Did you see Jaren Jackson drop 40 the other night when Jaws sat?
Yeah, that was
on that game that we got.
They ran the same play 12 times in a row because Joval had 5 fouls, and it was like, you're just not going to step up to guard the rim. So it was like, go lay it up. And he was making every bucket, and then he's shooting 40-foot threes, and they're just dropping in. It was like, well, it's going to be one of these nights for Jaren Jackson.
So what I took away from it, right? If you went in the first 2 years, right, you would have said that Trey was a better pick than Jaren Jackson. Let's revisit that take. Who would you have right now, right? If you could take one on your favorite team for you to be the Knicks, Jaren Jackson Jr. or Trae Young?
Oh, Jaren Jackson.
Right? At this point, it's crazy. Because I was thinking like, oh, that draft should have gone Luka 1, Trae 2. Right? And obviously that draft means a lot to me because that's the one that we blew. Although, who would have thought that we're in the playoffs and Luka isn't?
It's crazy how things change, Fred.
That's perfect. Let's get to that game right now. The Dallas Mavericks are still -8. Surprising me. -8. They're taking on the Chicago Bulls, total 220.5, right? Patrick Beverly's out. Alex Caruso, question mark. I don't see why he would play. DeMar DeRozan out. Zach LaVine out. Vukovic is playing. Okay. Doncic is playing, but Josh Green, Tim Hardaway, Kyrie Irving, and Maxi Kleber all out. JaVale McGee, probable, fantastic. And Christian Wood is out. Tyler, this is a weird game, but do the Mavericks deserve to be laying 8?
No, but I'm looking for a specific prop, and I don't see it up yet.
With their double-double and win.
Yeah, Luka double-double, Luka triple-double, all of his props.
I've done this show with you so long.
How in the hell is his points props 33.5? Bet the over.
Why are you sitting everyone else, though, and not him?
I mean,
the whole thing is weird.
Maybe they have some weird shtick where they're like, we're going to let them score 100 points. So,
I don't know. You think that's it?
I mean, do you look at the injury report? Who else is scoring the ball tonight?
My guy, Reggie Bullock. Let's go. No, you're right.
Yeah, you can stand in the corner, hit his couple threes. Luka's going to crush.
Have a cool haircut.
Luka's going to absolutely crush tonight. Once his props all load up, like that over 33.5 points, the only one I see right now. Love that. Okay. The only one I'm not touching is his assist, just because I don't know where the hell the buckets are coming from outside of him tonight. So love his props tonight. There's a 3.5 on his threes too. I mean, he's gonna shoot 30+ shots tonight. There's just nobody else on the floor to take these shots. He's gonna smash.
All right. I gotta run. I'll be back in like 1 minute, Tyler. But while I'm gone, break down the Golden State Warriors versus the Sacramento Kings, who are sitting everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at the injury report real quick. And it looks like the Kings, you got Q tags on Fox, Herter, Lyles, Mitchell, Monk, Keegan Murray, and Sabonis, with Matthew Dellavedova already out, who hasn't played a single game for them, I don't think. So they're sitting all their main guys. They're not going to play any of these guys. Can't move up in the standings, can't move down. And the two guys on the Warriors injury report are Andrew Wiggins, who's been on there for the past 2 months. He's back, but doing conditioning. And Clay's coming off the injury report to play with low back soreness. Golden State could still drop into that play-in, which I don't think they want to do. They've made comments about they want to play the Kings in the first round because they're an older team. They don't want to leave Northern California. If you could bounce back and forth from that city to Golden State, it makes it a lot easier. So I think they want to win this game. Even with all the guys up for the Kings, though, laying 9.5 with a road Warriors team is just a disaster waiting to happen. Probably going to stay away from this one. If I had to bet a side, though, give me the Kings plus the points. I just do not.
What if you bet that and then we rolled everybody in?
That would be absolutely beautiful. They're like, we're getting a first round taste of this, like what we're playing up against. Or the Kings are sitting there and they're like, we don't want to play the Warriors. We would rather play the Lakers or say the Pelicans. Like, let's push them backwards in the standings. So you never know what can happen in the NBA. It's Mike Brown we're talking about as a coach too, has had some not problems with the Warriors, but history with them. So wouldn't be surprised.
What do you mean? It's positive history.
He was on their coaching staff.
We hired them away from the Warriors. We hire everybody from the Warriors.
It makes it even better, spread, because now it's like, I get to push my former team into the play-in. The guy I used to work for. Don't be surprised if you get a couple of these guys rolled in. So right now, I'm taking the points with the Kings.
Well, I mean, you're never going to talk me out of taking the Beam team. Total's 235. Any thoughts there?
If any, I mean, I would say lean under, but in this matchup, Warriors road games have flew over. They're going to get any buckets they want. And if the Kings roll some guys in, you're playing with fire.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting 2-game late slate here. Warriors, Kings, Suns, Lakers. It should be a lot of fun. So, of course, be on RaptorsSports.com. Those late cores are going to go up when we finally do have the news. That Kings value is going to allow you to get anyone you want if they do sit everybody. The Phoenix Suns are plus 12.5 in Los Angeles. Taking on the evil franchise that represents everything that's wrong with the NBA. Anthony Davis is questionable. LeBron James questionable. D'Angelo Russell is probable. There's a guy named Cole Swider. Do you know Cole Swider? We need to care for Cole Swider, huh? What's that, Jonathan Nelson?
There's a couple names that have popped up on this injury report in the last couple of days. I swear it's just the people that run this site that are like, let's just throw a name on here and see if people notice.
I can't wait to see Tyler Hicks on that report. So one thing I wanted to point out, though, is those are the same exact designations that Davis, Russell, and LeBron had on Wednesday, and they all played. This line indicates that they're going to play. So that's how we're going to handicap it right now, that those three are in. And, Cole Swider is just the X factor here. On the other side, this is this normal starting five: DeAndre Ayton, Kevin Booker, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, TJ Warren. Is TJ Warren been starting for Phoenix when Katie's in there?
No, it's been a Koji.
Okay. So 4 of their 5 starters are out.
Yeah, Koji's going to be the only starter in there.
So who else is playing then? I'm trying to think about that team. That means
campaign
season.
Koji, Jock Landale, Bismack Biyombo, Damian Lee. It's going to be an ugly game.
Boy. I mean, it really comes. Do we like this Lakers spot better than the Nets? I think that's the only question here. You like the Nets more?
I do. I like the Nets more.
Okay.
And it's like you can't even come at this in like a performance double. Like an AD double and win is minus 205. Like, what do you want me to do with that?
Okay, fantastic. So, sorry, Jonathan Nelson won't have much to break down on that game there, but I think it's lay it or don't play it, right?
And then just looking at some of the other performance doubles, it's like LeBron to score 30 and they win. AD to score 30 and they win. LeBron to hit 4 threes and they win. Him to grab 10 rebounds. AD to grab 15 rebounds. AD to score 40. Like, they priced you out of these performances.
Why do you think that AD gets really passive when LeBron's in the game with him?
I think it's because LeBron just has to set up the offense. I think that's what it is. He always just wants to go back to reset, get the ball back to him.
It's getting weird, where he looked so good when LeBron was out, and then against the Clippers, he disappeared again. And he was that passive guy that Lakers fans have hated all year and wanted to trade, right? I mean, it's definitely been it's definitely been disappointing there. So. All right. Anything else on this slate before we give out the best bets?
Nope, that's it for it on me. Just tread lightly on these kind of slates, especially up until next week when we get the play-in tournament.
All right, but for the members, I think we'll have some tags today.
We'll have some tags, but tread lightly. Like, I wouldn't be hammering anything, going crazy, thinking these are like spots of the year, because we could roll into a game. The game tips off, and you're looking for a guy out on the floor who's supposed to be a starter. And he's not there, and then 2 minutes later, he's a late scratch.
I also don't think a moneyline parlay works. I think there's going to be some wild results, too.
Yeah,
where, the Knicks win at plus 317, the Bulls win at plus 237.
I would not mess with anything crazy here.
I can't even see the Pistons beating the Pacers.
Yep.
He says, please help me out. Should I hammer Raptors moneyline today?
No.
No. If you do, bet small. If you play, Tyler liked the Raptors. I like the Celtics. So we already split on the game. The Raptors have taken a little bit of money during this conversation. They were minus 1.5. Tyler, when we talked about earlier, they're now minus 2. But I think you can bet it, but I would not bet anything. I would bet less than you normally bet.
I wouldn't hammer it, even if I sat here at 8 p.m. tonight when this game's on and they're up by 40, and I'm like, man, I should have bet more money on that. I just still feel a lot more comfortable winning what I had on it. On an ugly NBA slate where you don't know what the hell is going to happen by the time the game tips off.
If you want to bet the Raptors,
you don't want to hammer this game, and then Tatum plays the entire game, and you're like, I was up against this Celtics team instead of the team I thought I was going to be up against.
And to my point earlier, maybe the best bench in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's either the Celtics or the Clippers in my mind.
I'd say the Clippers right now. I mean, just judging by the guys who are probably going to miss this game for Boston too. Like you're thinning out the bench.
The
main source off the Boston bench is probably out in Brogdon.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, like I said, if you want to play it, half unit, max. So, of course, join RaptorsSports.com. You'll get all the RPV tags that we do think are worth a full unit. But Tyler, we're not greedy. We're going to each give them a free one right now. Best bet for today, Tyler, side, total, or prop?
Yeah, give me Nets minus that 11.5. I think they just roll this Magic team. They lock up the 6th seed, and then you could see them sit their guys on Sunday.
All right. I'm going to give a prop. I'm going to give it on that Wizards game. Corey Kispert over 15.5 points.
I got a fun one in that game, too. It'll tack on to your prop. Uh-huh. I think they win that game. I don't trust these backups for Miami. I mean, you just look at the guys they're sending out there. This is going to be an ugly game on both sides, but the Washington guys have a bunch of scorers. That Kispert 3+ threes and they win is plus 220. He is going to shoot 9 to 10 threes tonight. If he gives you 3 and they win at plus 220, I think that's worth it.
All right. Here's a question. What team in tonight's slate has the most to play for?
It's got to be the combinations of Brooklyn,
Golden State, and
Toronto, and Atlanta. because Toronto and Atlanta play that game of if Toronto wins, Atlanta loses, they switch seeds.
Yeah.
New Orleans is all. I mean, you could say the Lakers, Golden State, Dallas, the Pelicans, Atlanta, Toronto, and Brooklyn are all in not must-win spots, but spots you probably want to win these games late in the year.
Right. And that's why I was saying it's bad luck, right? Because you just named off 8 teams that want to win. None of them are playing against each other.
And we named 8 teams, and you go look at their injury report, and half the team is missing.
Yeah. All right. Tyler, who does words of wisdom at the end of the day?
I think I'll do it, spread.
All right.
And, I mean, it's been a long season. I mean, really don't know how to end it up.